Well, 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 would you look at that? Back-to-back weeks, we won some money on a parlay bet here on FanDuel, but once again, it wasn't a college football bet. It was on an NFL game, the Lions versus Packers, and I don't do videos for my NFL bets. But don't worry, because no matter what bet I win on, college football or NFL, I still share a piece of the pie with you guys. So all you have to do is leave a comment on this video and I pick random people and send you some money. Welcome to Coach Coop's Week 6 Parlay Picks on FanDuel. Let's go. What's going on, Canes fans? As I said, don't hesitate, don't forget to leave a comment on this video. There have been several videos that I have replied to people and said, hey, what's your PayPal? What's your Cash App? I'll send you some of the winnings, and they never respond. And I can't continue to go back to week 1 and week 2 when people reply weeks later or months later down the road. You got to hit me back before the next Parlay Picks video comes out. So again, even though this bet was from last week, I will share a piece of the pie. Just leave a comment down below. This was on the Lions versus Packers game. We had a little 3-leg parlay. And I realized that I say my limit is usually around $10 or so, but I was feeling extra confident in this one for some reason. Coop was a little frisky. And I bet 25, but we did win $168.66. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'll take it. Still low risk, high reward for that one. But let's not run and not hide from our college football bet from last week before we get into our week 6 picks. And we were oh so close again. You guys have to remember though, my motto, again, low risk, high reward. I like to do big, fat, juicy parlays that typically don't hit. But again, we've hit 2 times so far this year, and we are in the green about $350 to $400. I'd have to run the numbers to know exactly, but we're in the positive at least $350. But we hit on Louisville, Clemson, Michigan covered the spread. LSU lost 55 to 49 in a shootout against Ole Miss. So freaking close. And we took Duke to not lose by more than 5, and they lost by 7 to Notre Dame. So we were very close, but close is not good enough when it comes to betting. So before we jump into making our picks for this week, just remember that this is not betting advice. I can't say that enough. People believe that I'm trying to give you advice on betting. That's not what I'm doing. I'm strictly just sharing my picks with you guys, the ones that I'm making for this week. And sometimes they're a little crazy. It just is what it is. Coop is crazy, so it kind of fits. Also, do not bet on sports unless you are of legal age and you are in a state where sports betting is legal. So with all the disclaimers and nonsense out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into week 6. And right out of the gate, I'm going to hit you with one that might surprise you. Now, please critique my picks. Let's talk about, if you think they were smart, not smart. Let me know what your picks are also for this week. And I'm actually going to take the points in this Mizzou LSU game. I think that it's going to surprise some people. LSU knows how to score some points, but their defense is also not spectacular. And I have a feeling that they might be hanging their heads a bit after the Ole Miss game. And Mizzou is undefeated. Mizzou's they're not a crazy good football team. They did beat Kansas State in week 3. They are currently ranked at number 21 in the country. But I think that they could beat LSU. Now, keep in mind, if you're new to betting, that taking the points here at 4.5 means that I believe Mizzou will win. But if LSU does win, they just can't beat Mizzou by more than 4 points. So I think that Mizzou can actually keep this one close. So we have, multiple opportunities here to still hit on this bet. I saw some confusion on the video from last week. So I'm not saying Mizzou will win by 4 or more. I'm saying they won't lose by 4 or more, or they win outright. So that's the first bet of the week, starting out kind of juicy in my opinion. And the next one, I'm just going to go simple, straight up money line here, Texas versus Oklahoma. Somebody's going to get their first loss of the season this Saturday. It's a home game for the Longhorns. It is a rivalry matchup. And Oklahoma's defense has held every opponent to under 20 points so far this season. But this Saturday against Texas, that will change. I think this is an easy bet. You take Texas here at home, money line. Next up on the list, we are looking at yet possibly another controversial pick. This might be the most controversial parlay picks video we've done this season. Alabama and Texas A&M. Honestly, let me know who you guys have, because this is at the home of the 12th man. This is a home game for the Aggies. But I'm going to go just straight money line here and take Alabama. I'm going to pick Nick Saban over Jimbo Fisher. I know Jimbo has had Nick Saban's number, but for some reason this week, I got to stick with Saban and the Crimson Tide. Now, you have to remember that when betting, there's money involved, right? So I'm using my brain. Fandom and emotion is set to the side, because ideally here for Miami, a Texas A&M win would make Miami just continue to look better and better, because Miami has given Texas A&M their only loss so far this season. But it's not about what I want to happen. It's what I'm putting money on that I think will happen to try to win more money. Milroe is not really a stellar quarterback. He's just okay, but they're learning kind of how to use him in the offense. Texas A&M is now playing Johnson over Wigman because Wigman got injured, but Texas A&M, the staff and the fans really like Johnson. I don't really want to mess with the spread because it's 1.5. I'm just going to take moneyline Alabama. I am, and I'm going to trust that you take Saban here, and he gets the dub at the home of the 12th man. Next up here, we're going to move on to a pick that will be slightly less controversial than some of the previous ones, and that's going to be the North Carolina-Syracuse game. And I'm still also going to stay away from the spread. A lot of money line picks this week. It just is what it is. I'm also avoiding the over-under in most of them. And I'm just going to go money line North Carolina in this one. And I think that it speaks for itself. People hype up Syracuse, it seems like, every single season until they play some real teams. And then we find out what they're actually all about. Drake May, I still believe, is a pretty good quarterback. This is a home game for North Carolina. Syracuse coming off of a Clemson loss. I think this one makes sense to take Mac Brown and the Tar Heels. Next up, we got a few more games. We're at a 4-leg parlay here, so we'll probably make it a 6-leg as usual. And this is going to be, I can't believe how many controversial picks we have in this one. This one's going to have you guys scratching your heads. And you know, I'm scratching my head as well and trying to figure out what in the world Coop is thinking. Georgia versus Kentucky. Probably one of the most watched games this weekend. When is Georgia going to lose a football game? Are they going to lose a football game? Because it's been a long time, and they had a close call this season, but they weathered the storm and they came out victorious. With that being said, I'm just trolling you. I'm hovering over the Kentucky money line. I'm not taking that, but I am going to take the points with Kentucky at 14.5 because I do think, hear me out, that Georgia wins. Georgia wins. Georgia is the more talented team. Kentucky is going to be very physical. This is going to be a hard-hitting, tough matchup for both of these squads. But I think Georgia wins by maybe 10-13. I think that Kentucky can possibly keep it close. Now, to be fair, this could very easily be a Georgia statement game. This could be them coming back with a vengeance, and they might beat Kentucky by 21 plus. However, I'm going to be a little ballsy here this week, and we're going to take the points with Kentucky, and I believe that they can keep it within 14 or win outright. Probably not winning outright, but I think they can keep it within 14. Georgia probably wins. But going to be a little ballsy here with this one and take the points with Kentucky. And the final bet for this Parlay Picks video is going to be Notre Dame. Actually, we're going to have two more. We might do a 7 leg. Let's see. We might do a 6 or a 7 leg. We might juice it up even more this week. We're going to go Notre Dame versus Louisville, and I'm just going to go moneyline Notre Dame. Now, I would be tempted here to lay the points. I think that Notre Dame can win by quite a bit. I mean, Louisville did win last week against NC State, but it was 13-10 in a sloppy matchup. I think that, Notre Dame is battle-tested. Yes, they lost to Ohio State, but it was close. Yes, they had an absolute battle against Duke last week, and they barely won. But at the end of the day, Louisville is nowhere near the caliber of Ohio State or Duke, in my opinion. I take Sam Hartman over Jack Plummer every time. It just is what it is. And I'm pretty confident and comfortable with that pick. But again, trying to be a little more safe. Not going to play the spread this week very often. We'll just take moneyline Notre Dame. Now, that currently has this at a 6-leg parlay at plus 1672. And you know what? I'm feeling extra ballsy today. So why the heck not? Let's go against everything I promised in last week's video, because I gave you guys my word that I would never bet on Lane Kiffin ever again for the remainder of the 2023 season. And oh, buddy, did I tell a big fat lie. Because I'm going to go money line here just to add some extra juice to this parlay and take money line Ole Miss here over Arkansas. Give me Lane Kiffin. The Lane train continues to roll. They ride the high off of the LSU victory last week. I think Arkansas is 2-3. They're not very good. Ole Miss takes care of business at home to give us a juicy 7-leg plus 2053 odds here on the parlay. And let's see, $10 would make this a $205 payout. 15 would make it 308. You know what? Is comfortable and confident as I am in some of these picks, it is still a 7-leg parlay. And you guys know my motto: low risk, high reward. $10 for $205 is well worth it. And, if we lose, we lost $10. We're positive about $350 right now. $10, kind of little small wager here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lock it in. 10 for 205. I'll take that trade off all day, every day. I'm going to cover the little confirmation screen here because it might have some personal information. And that's going to wrap it up. What a wild week. If you guys want me to be honest, I do take some notes from time to time for these parlay pick videos just to make sure that I stay on point. And I went way off track in this one. There were 2 or 3 of those games that I just bet on the fly. Literally right now while filming this video. I would not recommend doing that. If you are going to bet on sports, do your research. Go with your brain, not your heart. But here we are. Don't forget to leave a comment to win some free money from my NFL bet 2 weeks in a row. Apparently, I'm a much better NFL bettor than I am college football bettor. But I personally feel like college football is much more difficult to predict. I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride for multiple teams this season. A lot of unexpected wins and surprise losses. And in the NFL, it seems to be a little more consistent. So I think it's easier to bet. I like to do a lot of passing and rushing props and things like that. But I still enjoy betting on college football just kind of for fun, for some extra Taco Bell money or gas money. Remember though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.